Hi guys, so in this video we'll talk about how to move a container or VM from one Incus server to another Incus server. So the process is going to be same for the container regardless of whether it's a container or VM. So what you need to do is you need to first configure the authentication between two servers, and then you can move the container from one server to another server. So in here I have two servers, Incus server 1 and Incus server 2. Okay, so what I need to do first is I need to add a remote server. So in here, let's first of all I show you the commands that I will have to use in order to do this one. Let's see. Let's see whether I can show this one. Okay, now I need to add Incus, so I will be using Incus remote add the command to add the remote server, and then I will need the command Incus config Incus config add Incus config trust add. So that's for authentication. So on authentication, so I have two servers, so I'll be configuring the authentication between the two servers, and the third one I need will be the Incus copy command. So Incus copy command by default uses the pull base method. So since it's pull base method, what I need to do is like I need to configure. I need to run the Incus copy command in my server 2, because in my server 1, if I type Incus list, I can see I have a one container. So we note that Incus container need to be stopped in order to do this copying, because we are not doing a live migration in here. If it's a live migration, you can have the container running, but since it is not a live migration, we need to have the container stopped. So if I run Incus list in my second server, I do not have any containers or the VMs at the moment. So I need to copy this container 1 from container name temp1 from the Incus server 1 to Incus server 2. So I need to run the Incus copy command in the Incus server 2, because by default Incus use the pull base mechanism. So we can change it. You can change this to push base mechanism, or you can have a middle server and do the copy. You can change the mode, but I'm not going to change the mode in here. I'm going to go with the default mode. So I'll be running the Incus server or Incus copy command from the server 2. So what I need to do is like I need to authenticate Incus server 2 to Incus server 1. So first I'm going to create a client certificate for the Incus server 2 from Incus server 1, because I'm going to authenticate from server 2 to server 1. So I need to create a authentication, a password or client certificate for the Incus server 2. So first command I need to run will be this one, Incus config trust add. So let me type the command. So you need this particular command, Incus Incus config trust add. So Incus config trusted, you need to give the remote IP. Then if you have a port, can give the port. If you have a specific port, if you are using the default port, you don't have to give the port. Then the server name, and if you want any specific restrictions, you can use this flag. So I'm not going to use any flags. I'm going to give full access to the servers. So and I'm going to use this one. So first of all, I'm going to change back to my terminal, and in here I'm going to type incus config trust add, and I need to give the IP address of the server 2. So I can get the IP address by typing IPADDR. So in here I have the loopback address. I don't need that one. I have incus BR0, that means the incus bridge adapter. I don't need that one. So I need, what I need is this particular adapter. So this is my physical adapter of the server. So IP address is this one. I'm going to take this one, and then I need the name, a name for the server. So I can give any name I like. So I'm going to give it as incus2, and I'm going to press enter. So once it press enter, it will be generating a client token, client certificate. Okay, this is a client certificate token that you can use when you are adding the remote server to authenticate yourself. So now I need to add in the server 2, in my server 2, I need to add Incus Server 1 as a remote server for the Incus Server 2. So I'm going to type Incus remote add. So the command I need to use is this one. So you can see whether you have any Incus remote servers added by typing this particular command. If I type, I will type later on that command. By default, we have the image server and the Unix default socket. So let me confirm that on that I do not have any other servers. So remember, the command is this one: incus remote add, the remote server name and the IP address. Okay. Let me go back to the terminal. So if I type incus remote list in here, I only had the image remote server where I'm pulling the images, and the local current incus installation. Okay, so I'm going to type incus remote add the server name. So I'm going to add incus server 1. So I'm going to give it a name as the incus 1, and I need the IP address of the incus server 1. So again, I'm going to type command IPADDR. So again, the same ports, loopback address, incus bridge adapter, and my physical adapter. So I'm going to take this one. So incus 1 and IP address. So that's all I need to give, the remote server name and the IP address. So once this is given, I can press enter. It's generating the client certificate. So it's trying to communicate the client certificate. Let's see. Okay, so the error. So I could not connect because let's see whether I can connect this server. Let's say the particular server. This is my server 1. Okay, let's see whether I can access one. So telnet, I need to access using 443. Yeah, I can access. Earlier I could not access. I just create whether I can change the settings from the backend of my server. That's why this did not work earlier. So the port, how I got to know the port. So this is the default port. You can actually check this port by using, let me do the checking again, telnet and 9. Let's say whether I can access my server 2. So my server 2 address is this one. Yeah, I can access. So how you can see the ports? So you can see the port by typing incus info. So when you type the incus info, you can see there is a parameter or section called config section called core HTTP address. So this is the port used by the Incus server to listen on your network. So in here now I'm going to type that command again. Incus remote add my server 1 IP address 105. And once it's done, it's communicate with my Incus server 1. And since I already configured a trust certificate in my Incus server 1 to generate a trust certificate, it's asked, okay, this whether this certificate thumbprint is okay. I can check this one with the certificate thumbprint of the server 1. I'm not going to do that one at the moment, so I'm going to just give it as yes, and then it's going to ask the token generated for the particular Incus server 2. So I earlier generated the token in here by typing the incus config trust. So this is the token generated from the certificate. I'm going to copy this one. So this is the server certificate thumbprint. Okay, so I just gave the token generated from the server 1 for the server 2. So this is the server 2, and press enter. So now client certificate is added. So in here, if I type Incus trust list, okay, sorry, Incus config list, Incus config trust list, I can see I am trusting Incus server 2. So this, how this one added is by earlier command, which is the Incus config trust add Incus 2. So I'm trusting this one. So in here it's generating a token and adding the Incus server 2. So from here I type Incus config trust list. I do not have any trust relationship between server 1 because server 1 is not going to connect to server 2. From this server 2 only we are going to connect to server 1. So I do not need the reverse trust relationship. So there's no trust relationship. But if I type now Incus remote list, I can see earlier I only had the images and local. If I scroll earlier, I only have the Incus and the local remotes. But now I have the another remote known as Incus 1, because from Incus 2 I can connect to Incus 1 now because I have authenticated myself with Incus 1, and Incus 1 server is trusting myself. So how you can check this one? Okay, if I type Incus list, I'll be communicating with my particular server Incus 2 itself. From the Incus 2, so inside the Incus server 2, I'm communicating with my Incus server 2 itself, because by default the remote is the local one. So in the remote list, the current one is the default one. If you did not type any specific remote, this is the default one that will be communicating for. So the default one is my local server. So there at the moment I do not have any VMs or any containers as I showed you in the beginning. So but if I type in here, if I type incus remote list again in my server one also, incus remote list, I again, since I did not configure remotes in the Incus server one, I only have these two. And if I type Incus list, you guys are able to see that I have one container named temp1. So since just to verify that I can access Incus server 1 from the Incus server 2, I'll be checking my Incus server 1 container list within the Incus from the Incus server 2. How I can do that one is by Incus list. So I need to access the remote server. So my remote server is Incus 1. So I'm going to type Incus 1 and then colon. See? So within the Incus server 2, I'm checking the content of Incus server 1. So I can see temp1 container is there. Okay. Now I need to copy from server 1 to server 2. So what I need to use is the incus copy command. So let me go back to the documentation and show you the particular command. So I need to use the incus copy command. So I need to give incus copy, the server remote server name, then the VM or the container name, and then the destination. So since my destination is the where I run in the command itself, I do not need to specify it. Okay, so let's run and see how it works. Yeah, let me run this command.
All right, hope we can start the session now. So I have already sent you the link to the peer review form for case study 3.
Hello. So now I'm going to run the incus copy command from the server 2 to server 1. So I'm going to type incus copy. So I need to give the remote server IP address. So remote server name incus 1 colon, because I'm going to get the thing inside the incus 1. So incus 1, then I need to get the incus 1 container temp1, and I need to copy it to my destination servers, and the destination service the Incus Server 2 itself where I'm running the command. So I don't need to give the name again, server name again. I can just say the new name I need the container be created as. So I'm going to create temp1 container pulled from the server 1 and create it as, copied it as temp2. So I'm going to press enter. Okay, now scope it complete. Now I'm going to type Incus list in my Incus Server 2. Let's see what happens. Okay, I have the Incus temp2 container created in my server 2. So I successfully able to copy from container 1 to container 2. Let's start the container. So I just started my Incus container temp2 container in the Incus Server 2. If I type Incus list, I can see my temp2 container is started. But if I type Incus list, then my remote Incus Server 1 to check the remote server status, I can see my temp1 is still stopped. Can I control the Incus Server 1 containers also? Yes, I can, because I can list, because I am authenticated to Incus Server 1 from the Incus Server 2. So if I need to start the Incus Server 1 container from within the Incus Server 2, I can do that. How can I do? I need to type Incus start, then Incus 1, my remote host name, remote server name, which I added in the Incus remote list, and colon temp1, because temp1 is my container name in the Incus Server 1. So if I type here, and if I type again Incus list Incus Server 1, now that one is also running. See? So this is how you can copy a container from one Incus server to another Incus server. Very easy. So thank you everyone. Have a nice day. So if you have any question, please drop it in the comments, or you can put it in the GitHub repository which I mentioned in the description itself. So have a nice day. See you again in another video.